Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Friedman Adventures Morning Briefing. Hope you're having a great morning, a cup of coffee, and I'll get you all caught up on everything that's going on here on the West Coast. Well, back behind me there, you see Bob Osborne, the world famous. He's fishing with those sandworms that I spent the last hour digging up out of the beach here. It was kind of fun. I like doing that. Everybody's got to have a hobby, right? And that's one of my hobbies, digging up worms. So Bob's fishing with that. I went up the beach, fished for about a half hour, and ended up with a couple of rays. One really good bite that felt like a real fish, but nothing to write home about. We're going to keep going at it. It's a gorgeous morning. And hey, let me start out by saying Feliz Dia de las Madres, because today is Mother's Day in Mexico. It's always celebrated on the 10th of May. I know so many great moms south of the border as well as around the world. So Feliz Dia de las Madres a todos, and I hope you have a really lovely day. Well, the weather is up in some areas, but you'd never know it here on the beach. It's sunny, it's warm, it's gorgeous. The water feels warm to your little toes as you step into it. Could be because it was only like 56 degrees when we first started out here, but it really looks like a lovely day. And no question about it, while it's snotty weather, it's not unfishable down there off Ensenada for some of the bigger boats. New Loan with 55, Bluefin tuna had a handful in the 100-pound class, and a recent catch on board the New Loan for Sophie Sheldon, a 265-pound bluefin tuna. There it is. What a magnificent catch, Sophie. Much bigger than any bluefin tuna I've ever caught, and congratulations. I know the crew on the New Loan made it happen along with you, and again, that is just a gorgeous fish. Way to go. Sophie caught that on the iron, as have many of the other folks that have been fishing. The nighttime bites have been pretty good on the 100-gram to 300-gram lures, and a variety of the Sacanas are working good, flat falls, knife jigs. All of those things seem to be working very, very well. When you get into the daytime bites, sometimes it's that run and gun type fishing, even in this weather, and that's when you want to fish 30 to 40-pound fluorocarbon. For the most part, that's been getting most of the bites. You, however, cannot go down there now with all these big fish running around without a 2-speed reel and 80-pound. That is an absolute necessity. So the weather is up. It's snotty. It's going to go up a notch here in the next, I think, 24 hours if the forecasts are correct, but hopefully the bigger boats will be able to fish in it. Shogun, it sounds like, had some really good nighttime fishing last night. We'll get a further report on that, and we have some Friedman Adventure family members, and by that I mean all our family, the thousands of people who make it up out there, and we're wishing them as well as everybody else who's out fishing today. One day trips, well, we harken back to that trip on the San Diego. It's about a week ago that it happened, but they had 24 bluefin tuna, the 130 to 170 pound class, quit fishing due to exhaustion. It was really a spectacular bite. Since that time, we've been seeing a lot of big fish wandering in to that one-day range, and by that I mean from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Those boats depart at 6, fish till 6. It's a really magnificent thing when you can see that. Recently, we haven't seen those kind of big numbers, but we've been picking at those fish. The weather's been up. Some of those boats have been fishing it, some have not. We'll see how it goes here today. And once again, same kind of advice with that 30 to 40 pound fluorocarbon to fish during the daytime. And then, of course, you can go to the heavier stuff. If you see that big fish show up, there is no question about it. You definitely want to make that happen. A friend of mine is going by. Do you mind if I say hi to him? Buenos dias, Valentino. ¿Cómo estás? Okay, my friend Valentino's going by. He's a great guy. He takes care of the beaches here, and whenever we have some extra fish, we make sure and pass it along to him. Coronado Islands, a few yellows have been zooming around there, but they're not zooming all that much anymore. The weather's taking its toll on water temperatures there. That island, or I should say those islands, south, middle grounds, north, south Kelp Ridge, the rock pile, that whole region there is going to bite this year. You can feel it coming, but it's just not ready. The springtime wind has really made it more difficult, but it shouldn't be that much further around the corner. San Clemente Island out there, it's been too windy really. Well, hopefully we'll get some boats out there. The Freedom has been fishing out there on a regular basis. Tino Valentine's had some really excellent days on white sea bass and yellowtail, halibut, fishing around squid nests for the most part. But the wind and weather and sea lions also made it very difficult out there in that neck of the woods. So we'll keep our eyes on it, see if it's going to bite. Catalina Island, the Pursuit's been fishing there. They've had big bonita. They've had good shows on the yellowtail. They've been able to catch some whitefish and sheepshead and rockfish. Looking like that place wants to go. And once again, we take a little step backwards because of water temps. But even in the wind the other day, they had some decent signal. Not great, but decent signal. Hopefully that's going to continue to head in the right direction. Santa Barbara Island, the little island, showing some promise. There was a time about a week ago where yellows and sea bass and halibut, man, it was really active out there at the little island. Some great fishing. Now, the last day most of the boats fished there before all this wind, it took a dramatic turn downward, went off the bite. Not much fish taken. One of the nicer yellowtail taken by my friend Captain Dave Dodge, who was fishing on board the El Dorado out of Long Beach sport fishing. But Dave said it's just not there anymore. And Dave is not writing the island off. He's just talking about that one particular day. Sometimes these ebb and flow, just have a down day and it comes roaring back. So once we get a little bit better weather, we'll see what happens. I'm looking back there at the world famous Bob Osborne. Looks like he's making another cast. I don't believe he's caught anything. Let me know out there, please. If he's pulling on a fish, I want to know about it. Channel Islands, the site of some really great white sea bass fishing when the weather cooperates, and it has not been cooperating one bit at all. It's been very, very difficult up there in the Channel Islands. How frustrating can it get? The CJ just the other day, he had limits of sea bass, and the Aloha Spirit had 5 white sea bass. Many of the sea bass up there in that 25 to 40 pound class, which is a great, beautiful grade of fish. But we've had fish up in the 60 pound mark. They have been really, really gorgeous fish. It's all about getting good weather. And we've got our fingers crossed for our May 22nd trip on the Island Spirit out of Ventura Sport Fishing. It's a Sunday trip. Leaving at 6 a.m., back in at 5, focusing on exotics, white sea bass, halibut, yellowtail. That doesn't happen. We're going to fish the rockfish. If we can get our grimy hands on live squid, we will make that a priority for that trip, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be there along with so many other dear friends of the Friedman Adventures family. Looking forward to it. A few spots left. Just send me a text if you want to get on board to 657-227-6459. Once again, there's been some really awesome sea bass fishing when the weather cooperates. And unfortunately, that weather is still up right now, so we'll have to see what happens when that is going to indeed lay down. We look at the coast, and up and down the coast, you know, some calico bass and sand bass. Nothing really wide open. There's been more shorts than legals, it seems like. A few barracuda also into the picture. That is something that could happen here. You know, I mean, you look at this weather here this morning, and I can see out offshore. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And the water feels kind of warm, feels 60-ish. So that barracuda bite could happen. And with this anchovy in the local environment this year, we have high hopes that maybe, just maybe, the barracuda will stick around for longer than a couple of days. I mean, years gone by, the old days, I'm talking like an old guy now because I am one, but, you know, we'd have barracuda bites for the entire spring into the summer. It would go on for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. More recently, we see barracuda come in, we'll get a good bite for a few days, and then they're gone. They just do not stick around. Very similar to the sand bass situation when we used to get all those migratory fish, and day and night just be catching copious amounts of sand bass, and that thing has not repeated itself for many, many years. Is it overfishing? Is it the oceanography changed and it got too warm and the fish have not been here, and now with this La Nina they're going to come back? Those are all really complex and difficult questions, but we'll keep our eyes on it and keep our fingers crossed. So coastal, a lot of whitefish, rockfish, that kind of stuff, with that little bit of a showing of a possible surface bite getting ready to happen. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that. Grunion Run, the next one will be May the 16th. And as I like to point out to you, I like the second and third nights. So May 16th will be the first night. That usually starts around 10 o'clock in the evening. I like the second hour. If you don't want to come down here in the wind and cold and sit for the first hour, I like showing up for the second hour. If they show up early, you might get screwed by doing that, but I like the second and third day and then going out an hour after the projected run has started. So on the second night, if they say 10:30, I'm walking out here at 11:30 to take a look. Observation only, don't forget that. Tonight, live from beautiful 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, we'll be doing our live Friedman Adventures Podcast. Joining me tonight will be Jeff Yeomans from the 540 Slinger Club and also Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle in beautiful Carson, California. He'll be coming over. We're going to be talking throwing the iron. We'll be giving you some tips. We'll be talking about how to throw the iron. And of course, we'll be talking about our event on Sunday. It's this Sunday, 8 in the morning till 11 a.m. Recreation Park, the casting pond. I'm not sure we're going to be using the casting pond. We may be using the grass around it, but that's the location. Casting Pond, Recreation Park off 7th Street, 8 to 11 a.m. And then immediately after that, we're going to go over to Chef Jason's place, Schulb's, and from 11:30 until whenever it ends, we'll be at Schulb's restaurant having a cold beer, a hot cup of coffee, a Dodger dog, a piece of fish, a beautiful big burger, whatever it is that makes your little heart content. That should be a lot of fun. Wednesday night, I'll be over at South Bay Anglers giving a little speech to those guys. Really looking forward to seeing Matt and all the guys from South Bay Anglers Club. And of course, we will continue to watch things for you and keep you up to date. Doesn't look like any bites going on behind me. I'm going to get back to that, see if I can't catch a fish so Chef Jason can cook it up for me tomorrow. And of course, we'll continue to watch it for you very, very closely. An absolutely gorgeous day for Mother's Day in Mexico and a beautiful day here in Southern California. Once again, I thank you for spending some time with me this morning. We'll keep you in touch, and I'll be back tonight, 7 o'clock live. Make sure you funnel in some questions for Sam and for Jeff and for yours truly. It'll be great to see you tonight. 7 p.m. live from 22nd Street Landing. Thanks again, everybody. That concludes another morning briefing. Have a lovely finish to your day, and I'll see you tonight at 7.